Thanks for watching Times News on Times TV with me, George Misinde. First, the headlines. Malawi receives 119,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines. SADC member states challenged to engage an extra gear towards eliminating child marriages. In international news, Zambia's opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema has taken an early lead in the country's presidential election. We have these and other stories. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us. Malawi has received 119,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine through the COVAX facility. The jabs arrived on Saturday through Kamuzu International Airport. Rebecca Jimjeka has compiled this report, read by Fali Banda.
The vaccines are part of the United Kingdom pledged donation of 100 million vaccines overseas by June 2022. Speaking when receiving the consignment, British High Commission Chargé d'Affaires Fiona Rich said the vaccine is part of the first tranche of 9 million doses that the UK recently released and donated to the world.
I'm really pleased to be able to help the government of Malawi and particularly my colleagues in the Ministry of Health with their ambition to vaccinate 3.8 million Malawians against COVID-19.
Speaking on behalf of the Malawi government, Minister Kumbize Kandodo Chiponda said she was grateful for the vaccines.
This consignment, I'm sure by Monday, all the districts would have received this consignment. So my appeal to those, especially those who have already received the first vaccine of AstraZeneca, on Monday, please, let's go and get the second jab of AstraZeneca.
The country has so far received close to 1 million jabs of COVID-19 vaccine. As of Friday, the Ministry of Health has recorded 22 new deaths, 347 new cases of COVID-19, and also recorded 401 recovered cases and 39 discharged cases.
A gender rights activist through the Feminist Macroeconomics Alliance has called on SADC member states to engage an extra gear towards eliminating child marriages and to promote quality education. Action Aid Malawi Executive Director Hassan Golowa has asked government to promote gender equality and women empowerment. Blessings Mpinganjira reports.
One of the keynote speakers at the SADC Regional Dialogue, Professor Leonard Mangani, urged SADC member states to be innovative and economically driven in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. Minister of Gender Patricia Kaliati urged organizations to work hand in hand to achieve the common goal.
We work with the NGOs, the CSOs, and under the Kongoma and our partners as well, the OSISA who are supporting them, and the government programs. So as the ministry and the government, we've taken note of all those and we're looking forward to say that we work together. What is needed is to coordinate. It's not an issue of one government doing it, but both of us coordinating and what is it that we're supposed to be doing together so that we achieve the integration as well as the industrialization of what works for women and girls as well.
Action Aid Malawi Executive Director Hassan Golowa has asked government to promote gender equality and women empowerment.
And this summit, this event was supposed to raise issues that are affecting our women and our girls in terms of regional integration, economic development, and also industrialization. So we're looking at how our women and girls can benefit from the process that SADC is propagating in terms of empowering our women and our girls economically so that they can comfortably take care of themselves and their families.
Feminist Macroeconomic Alliance is a progressive movement comprising of Action Aid Malawi, Gender Coordination Network, Malawi Human Rights Resource Center for Equality, and Activista Youth Network. The alliance, with support from development partners, seek to realize women's economic justice.
Government has called on civil rights groups that are fighting for women and children in the Southern African Development Community to find solutions to problems that are emanating from effects of climate change. Chief of Health Services and the Minister of Health, Queen Due, said this in Lilongwe during the opening of the Southern Africa Gender Protocol Alliance and the National Partners SADC Summit on Sexual Reproductive Health Rights. Rebecca Jimjeka has compiled this report, read by Fali Banda.
Dube said SADC is failing to ensure that women and girls' sexual reproductive healthy rights are fully accorded because of the effects emanating from climate change. She called for an unusual approach in building health systems that should be resilient to future shocks. Dube urged SADC member states to provide conducive environment for sexual reproductive health services so that the countries help SADC realize its Vision 2050.
Maternal deaths. So these are women that die whilst pregnant, giving birth, or the first 6 weeks post-delivery. We need to reduce those deaths down to 70 per 100,000.
Parliamentary Committee on Health Chairperson Matthews Ngwali said eliminating sexual and gender-based violence and other harmful practices, especially against women and girls, would reduce unplanned pregnancies and unsafe abortions.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Ezinhau Mkaka has defended the purchase of 20 vehicles to be used during the Southern African Development Community Summit taking place in Lilongwe. The vehicles have cost government over 2 billion kwacha. Deogracious Mana has compiled this report, read by Fali Banda.
Mkaka and the Minister of Information Gospel Kazako told news conference on Sunday that government would buy 20 vehicles to be used during the SADC meeting taking place in Lilongwe. 10 vehicles which will be used by the presidents arrived in the country on Friday through Kamuzu International Airport. Times established that government was in touch with Imperial Motors Limited, suppliers of Nissan vehicles, to supply 10 vehicles. The other 10 vehicles are to be supplied by Toyota Malawi at 980 million kwacha. Some quarters feel government would have spent for less if it had hired the vehicles locally. University of Livingstonia economist Colin Kalua questioned the procurement of the vehicles, saying SADC Secretariat provides funding for such summits. But Nkaka justified the buying of the vehicles.
It's very important for us to have context. For starters, the protocol department in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which handles all international meetings, is supposed to have a pool of vehicles that they can use anytime an international event is being held.
8 presidents are expected to arrive for the summit on Tuesday.
The Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM, has revealed plans to construct a new office building with over 20 stories, estimated to cost over 15 billion kwacha. This came out on Friday when the Parliamentary Committee on Transport and Public Infrastructure visited the old ESCOM building, which was gutted by fire in 2013. Chimwemwe Mangazi reports.
According to chairperson of the committee, Uchizi Mkandawire, they wondered why it has taken 8 years without any progress on the building. After a tour of the old building, Kandawire acknowledged that the damage was grave.
ESCOM management has really acknowledged that it has really been very long. Since 2013 up to now is close to 8 years. So they have apologized to say that they could have done better.
ESCOM board chairperson Frederick Changaya says demolition of the old building and construction of a new one should commence early next year.
The current board is envisaging that within the remaining months of this current fiscal year, we should make sure that there is a building starting up, and we hope will run for 2 years, 2.5 years max, to ensure that we have a new building. The plan is not to bring back what was there. This is CBD, Central Business District, Blantyre. Our plan is to make sure that we've got a high-rise block, office block, that is going to house all ESCOM employees in Blantyre.
A few years back, there was controversy when Eskom awarded a contract to demolish the old building at a cost of over 600 million kwacha.
The National Youth Council says authorities need to change the whole agriculture system so that it attracts as many as young people as possible. The council's chief executive officer, Dingisayo Jere, made the appeal in Lilongwe at an event marking International Youth Day. Mark Donald Tom has more in this report.
Jerry says considering that the youth are in majority in the country, it is important that they are actively involved in agriculture.
When we look at this as theme, whereby it's talking of systems, food systems, innovative, that is the way how young people are supposed to be involved in the agriculture sector and in the food chain system. We have to make sure that agriculture is inviting, is exciting for the young people.
Southern African Development Community Youth Forum board member Hastings Saka says as an organization, they recognize the need for the SADC member states to invest in the youth.
Can the governments or state parties or can SADC member states now start engaging in technological agriculture? Start utilizing the value chain that will add value to whatever we are producing in the region, it being fish, it being every legume that we are actually exporting in its raw form. But if we do value addition, I think we should be able to actually even create more employment out of the agriculture that we're already doing in the region.
One of the youth currently involved in commercial agriculture, Clara Gamlomo, says there's need to motivate the youth to be involved in agriculture. Director of Planning in the Ministry of Agriculture, Rodwell Mzonde, says government is exploring ways of improving youth involvement in agriculture.
We are looking at how best can we assist the youth in terms of providing capital. I was talking of us, as of now, discussing with the ADB to make sure that youth should be involved in agriculture. The problem has been in Malawi that agriculture is taken as a subsistence issue.
International Youth Day is commemorated on 12 August every year. This year's theme was Transforming Food Systems, Youth Innovation for Human and Planetary Health.
This is Times News. We'll be back with more shortly.
To achieve great things in life, you must do little things every day, like the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate.
1, wake up, wake up. 2, brush up, brush up. 3, smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea.
Do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate and give yourself a future to smile about.
I choose to be smart. I choose to live a simple and easy life. I choose not to line up to pay my bills. This is why I go digital. Jump the queue. Pay your Lilongwe Water Board bills through mobile banking. Or you can pay through mobile money, as I always do. You can also check your water bill and balance by simply dialing *253#. With digital payments, you can save time and money. Be smart. Pay your bills on time.
Lilongwe Water Board. Lilongwe Water Board. Portable water all the time for all.
The irresistible taste of the extra smooth classic peanut butter also contains natural proteins for your good health. Classic peanut butter can even be used as a gravy thickener, spread on bread, and an additional flavor for various dishes like rice, porridge, and even vegetables.
So, for your family's good health, always serve classic peanut butter. Classic peanut butter is creamy, rich in energy, and highly nutritious. Classic peanut butter is available in 3 sizes: 250 gram, 400 gram, and 1 kilogram. And is also available in all leading shops in Malawi at an affordable price.
Classic peanut butter.
Classic peanut butter. Good health for your family.
Classic peanut butter.
Me too, Mom. I love it.
Welcome back. Authorities at Chitipa District Council say they are struggling to secure 150 million kwacha to start implementing a car race project in Misuku Hills, one of the priority projects under the reforms. The council says they are in the process of designing the car race routes before the actual works of drilling through the hills to create the routes. Sam Kalimira reports.
The council, which needs support from government, other district councils and the private sector, presented the idea to Vice President Soros Chirima and they got a nod. Speaking in an interview with Times, Chitipa District Council Director of Planning and Development Macmillan Magomero said currently the council has formed a reformed district task force team which went to Misuku and briefed area development committee members to own the project.
These committees plus the district task force team will be the one to do the designing in terms of arresting routes in Misuku Hills, so that this thing is owned by a district level with our partners in development, that is private sector, and also government sector, which is public sector, and at the grassroots level, at the area level, and also at the VDC level, so that we go together.
District Commissioner for Nkatabe, Rodney Simwaga, supported the idea but said it would take time to be implemented because it will need huge resources. Simwaga comments were echoed by Baraka District Commissioner MacLeod Kadamanja, who said once completed, it can not only change Chitipa but also the nation at large. Meanwhile, the Chitipa Council has decided that before tarmacking the race route, the road will be gravelled and they will start with sport motorcycle racing before graduating to car racing after improving the roads to bitumen. However, Magomero said the council has not yet secured 150 million kwacha to be used to start up the project. According to the project planning report, Misuku Hills will have hotels and other tourism structures, and once it is done, the area will create more jobs, apart from targeting forex from international tourists.
The SOS Children's Villages Malawi Lilongwe program, through its family strengthening program, has donated various items to Kamuzu Central Hospital One-Stop Center in Lilongwe. The donation was in response to recommendations from the assessment report on mapping of service points for survivors of violence and abuse conducted in 2020. Rebecca Chimjeka has more in this report, read by Fali Banda.
The assessment report revealed that most service points lack necessary equipment such as office furniture to effectively respond to the needs of survivors of various forms of violence and abuse. Speaking during the handover ceremony, Programs Director for Lilongwe Program, Stephen Nyirenda, said it was important to support One-Stop Center being the initial reference point for survivors of various forms of abuse and violence in Lilongwe.
Objectively, to help build the capacity of the One-Stop Center in terms of equipment.
Chief Nursing Officer Overseer of One-Stop Center at Kamuzu Central Hospital, Kelapi Kunkeani, said the donation will go a long way in ensuring smooth delivery of services.
Our clients will have good chairs where they can sit whilst they are waiting for the services, and even the nurses and even the clinicians that work in the One-Stop Center. They'll have good place where they can do their service.
Among the items the organization donated are office desks, office chairs, lockable filing cabinet, visitors' couches, double bed blankets, and bed sheets. Similar donations were made to Jadza and Tabango One-Stop Centers.
Leaders of Mzimba cultural heritage have complained that westernization is killing the Ngoni culture, as many youths in Mzimba are reluctant to join cultural gatherings. Deputy General Secretary of Youth Kingsley Jere has told Times that the Ngoni language, dressing and food is being diluted because the youth opt for Western culture. Sam Kalimira reports.
Jere said losing of the Ngoni culture amongst the youth is a problem which needs serious intervention, adding that only responsible youth can contribute positively in the development of the country. He was speaking at the Mzuzu Health Center, where the Mzimba Heritage Association Youth Department cleaned the premises and later donated several items to patients at the maternity ward. Jere said Mzimba cultural heritage is striving to ensure Ngoni culture sticks in the minds of the youth by encouraging parents to pass on Ngoni language, dressing and food.
We need to value our cultural values as the people of Mzimba. You know, Mzimba is regarded as a kingdom. We have our own cultural values. My advice is our youth, I think they should really they should take cultural values as one of their values. You know, you can only be identified with your cultural aspects. So it's very important that they should stick to their cultural values.
Mzimba Cultural Heritage Association Youth Department Chairperson Sipo Jere said they decided to clean up and make the donation to Mzuzu Health Center as a way of showing to others that only responsible youths are respected in the society.
This initiative is one of our objectives in our construction and our programs. Sanitation is the main concern, and reaching out to the rural masses and to the vulnerable people. That's why we came up with this initiative. This is what Inkosemakosi 5 told us.
Many youth in Mzimba celebrate their cultural at Umteto Cultural Festival, which happens every year but failed last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Mzuzu Senior Resident Magistrates Court has convicted and sentenced Francis Tawe, aged 33, Vestina Jere and Elita Mseteka, both aged 54, to 24 months imprisonment with hard labor or pay a fine of 2.6 million kwacha for trafficking forest produce. According to Mzuzu Police Public Relations Officer Paul Tembo, Tawe was arrested at Mchengautua police checkpoint, where he was found carrying bags of charcoal in a minibus. Elita Mseteka and Vestina Jere were arrested as the owners of the charcoal. Tembo explains.
We intercepted a minibus registration number MN 7569 caravan, which was carrying 23 bags of charcoal. In the process of questioning, the driver was arrested immediately, the vehicle seized, the charcoal also seized, and 2 ladies escaped. We intensified our investigations, and finally the case was taken before court.
And now to international news. Zambia's opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema has taken an early lead in the country's presidential election over incumbent Edgar Lungu, according to the first results from the Electoral Commission on Saturday. Hichilema tallied 171,604 votes versus the 110,178 garnered by Lungu in the results for 15 of the Southern Africa's nation's 156 constituencies. Those 15 constituencies include perceived Lungu strongholds, suggesting that Hichilema has gained ground since the last elections in 2016, when he lost by a slim margin in a contested vote marred by allegations of rigging by Lungu. A total of 296,210 votes were cast in those constituencies, representing a 71.75% turnout rate. Chief Electoral Officer Patrick Nshindano told a media briefing in the capital, Lusaka. Well, with that story, we've come to the end of the news, but before we go, the headlines again. Malawi received 119,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines. SADC member states challenged to engage an extra gear towards eliminating child marriages. In international news, Zambia's opposition leader, Hakainde Hichilema, has taken an early lead in the country's presidential election. Remember, you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page, Times 360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times 360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Please stay safe. You've been with me, George Misinde.
ndikazameza sikulu fanza khale nesi kumathandiza anthu nditachena kaunifomu kobeba kaja
ndimafana nzakhale bank manager anthu a ndrama ndikuyenda chigalimoto changa chobeba makazi mezi zingatheke nditatenga mimba mwachangu
chifukwa ndimayambirira sikulu kuti ndizakwanilitse maoto angawo
ndinachedwano
mbolatu chibalotu ichi okamba za mbola mbolatu ndikutenga mimba nakaliwa ng'ono ndikusanduka khonga pamenepo chifukwa chake ndimavaa kuchipatala katenga uphungu ndi njira zopewera mimbayo
iwe umakonesa bwanji kuti chipatala ndisanamene zimandiopya
wachinyamata ozindikira amakhala ndi masomphenya ndima masiku opanga isankho zoyenera kuti nzakhale nditsogola bo nanunso munthu opita kuchipatala kukapeza uphungu ndi njira zopewera mimba ndi matenda opatsirana kugonana.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. See, finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly. Until one day, James discovered something big. Now he can finally enjoy the perks of home ground advantage. Get home ground advantage when you get GoTV. For just 19,999 kwacha, you can enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cup competitions this football season. GoTV, love it.